right, welcome everybody to a special presentation on AIMLF, which could be our next 10 bagger. That's right, AIMLF is the stock. Parker Clark got into this at a nickel. I guess he got into it last week. And look, we've been talking about AIMLF for a little bit of time here. Where is my banner here for AIMLF? Let me pull this up. Hang on a second. What happened to it? It disappeared. Hang on a second. Let me run this while I create the banner for AIMLF. Stand by 1 second. Hang on a second. Let's trust me. This will be worth it. Look at this chart in the meanwhile. While I do this, look at this chart while I create this little sign over here. What happened to this? Man, this technology is very, very complicated. Okay, hang on. Okay, almost there. Sorry about that. Okay. You get the concept? There we go. Let me pull this up here. Okay. Okay, AIMLF. The stock is up 80% today. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's a massive run. I mean, basically, you would have doubled your money if you would have bought the stock on Thursday, like Parker and many other people. And by the way, I've been talking about the stock for quite a while on our channel, on TikTok, everywhere. Why is this thing running? Why is this stock running? And the question is, how far can it go? You don't really care if Parker doubled his money. That doesn't matter. What matters is, what is the upside for the stock? Can this become our next potential 10 bagger stock? So let's examine for real quick. Now, I'm gonna analyze the stock through the lens of the 10 bagger blueprint. Again, #1 bestseller on Amazon for a very good reason. This book is only read by smart people, okay? People who understand you gotta invest time and money if you want to get rich with stocks. You don't want to be a sucker buying these scam stocks out there where you're going to lose your money. You want to know when is the right time to get in, and most importantly, when is the time to get out. That's right. If you read the book, I tell you when to get in. Also, what are the signals to look for of when to get out? Now, AIMLF, how big can this be? First of all, I just want to bring something to your attention. They call me the $1 trillion man, or at least I call myself the $1 trillion man. Why is that? Because I've created $1 trillion in wealth for shareholders over the last, look, I'm doing this for a while. I'm doing this for, how long am I doing this? I am doing this for 25 years. That's right, 25 years, helping investors like you get rich with cheap stocks or semi-cheap stocks. Now, today was an interesting day. A stock called Heska, HSKA, being acquired for $120 a share. $120 a share. Now, you know, a lot of you thinking, well, this guy only deals with penny stocks, a scammer, this, that, whatever. Now, Heska is a company, one of our 100 baggers. It's a stock we introduced on Wall Street Reporter, I think 20 years ago. 20 years ago, that's right. In 2002, I think we did like a case study on it because this guy spoke at one of our conferences. It was like a live event back, we did live events, and stock was $2 a share. $2 a share, 2002. It immediately ran up, like the 2003, excuse me, right around here, 2003, whatever. It basically tripled like in a little bit of time, but whatever. Anyway, now we weren't doing like this type of heavy duty promotion, so to speak. It was more like companies, but we had conferences. We did a this magazine. This is one of our. I'm actually pulled this up. Oh, by the way, this is the microcap summit. I think this is where Heska spoke at a different one. But the point of this is, I'm going to bring this up to a point. And if you look at the companies we have on here, Agnico Eagle, Rio Tinto, Bonavent, Gammon Lake Resort. These are all New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ companies, some penny stocks, a couple of, TSX companies, etc. Now, again, I introduced Heska to investors at $3 a share. It went up to what, a couple $100. This is one of many. How about Axon? How about Axon? Axon. How about Axon? It's a stock we introduced at I think $1, $2, whatever it is, and back same around that same time, right? Maybe it was $1. It was $1, right? Back over here, same time, 2000. It was 2002 for sure. It ran up to $200. Now, do you want to wait 20 years for a stock to run up 100x? If you want to. Now, again, it became a 10 bagger pretty quickly. It became a 10 bagger within like a year or 2 years. I can't take full credit because all we did was like, we had them on one of our interview programs. We had some institutional stuff, whatever. We weren't doing like the live stream stuff. The technologies didn't exist. It did not exist 20 years ago. We only had was old-fashioned meetings with analysts, brokers, money managers, and a magazine that we used to send out, a print magazine that would go out to institutional investors. And now we do everything by email and online. And I decided in the last couple of years I want to focus only on stocks with 10 bagger potential. I don't want to work with these guys like Agnico Eagle, whatever. Like, what am I going to do there? I can't add value, right? I don't want to add value. I'm at the point where I just want to find stocks that could become 10 baggers, and that's it. That's just me. I don't know about you. Now, this stock went up 100x. Okay, one of many stocks we've had that became 100 baggers. I don't know, a couple $1 billion in wealth created. I don't know, 10, 20 billion, whatever. How about Rick? Rick, RCI Hospitality Holdings, as they call themselves. A stock we introduced, I think actually earlier. I think this was around in the early 2000s. Rick. And this went up also 100 bagger. You know what Rick does? Rick is a consolidator. They're doing a roll-up of titty bars, strip clubs. That's right. Strip clubs. It's a real business. This is not a joke. They're doing, I think a couple $100 million in business. I mean, it's a serious business. Rick's Cabaret or RCI Hospitality, whatever they call themselves these days. Very corporate. Now, when we first featured Rick's, we interviewed the CEO back in the day. They were just taken public by A.R. Barron. Now, again, they don't want to tell you this now these days. I mean, they brushed under the carpet, but they were taken public by A.R. Barron, which was a mob-controlled brokerage firm. That's right, the mob, as in, the mafia. That's right. The mob was very involved with penny stocks in the late 90s, and they took these guys public. Why did they go public? Now, again, nothing wrong with the Ricks. I mean, I'm sure these guys are 100% legit. The reality is this. If you were running a strip club business, you're not going to get Goldman Sachs to take you public. You'd only go public with one of these low-life type firms, these boiler room type operations. And, look, the CEO did a great job. This guy did an amazing job. And nobody believed that strip clubs, you can consolidate, you can make this a corporate business, the whole thing, whatever. And this guy, sure enough, took him 20 years. He's been working at it, execution, and delivering results. And that chart is a testament to, really sticking to the game plan. Again, this thing had run-ups. It became a 10 bagger pretty quickly. This chart exactly shows you how things really work in the market. The real money is made. Again, I talk about this in my book, 10 Bagger Blueprint. Here is a chart. Again, this is a stock that went up 100x, right? Just like Axon. The big money is made in these short periods of 6 to 12 months. I call that the 10 bagger window. Every stock, the rest of the time, the thing is going sideways, right? All this time it's going sideways. You got to get into these stocks when they're ready to break out, the inflection point. Let me go back to Axon. Which is, they make the tasers. RCI, almost $1 billion valuation. How about, hang on. Let me pull this up. Axon. Axon, 16 billion evaluation, 16 billion valuation. When we introduced the company to investors, it had a valuation of 20 million, 20 million. So when I say that I've created $1 trillion in wealth, you got to realize I've introduced to investors that cumulatively these stocks have increased by $1 trillion since the point I introduced them, right? So let's take it. I mean, $16 billion. That's one company. How many do you think I've had? I mean, by the way, this is one issue. We did this magazine every month for like, I don't know, 20, 15 years or whatever it was, decade, over a decade, right? And that's only companies that paid. What about the companies that didn't pay that were free on the website? Thousands, literally thousands of companies. You don't believe me? Go back to the Wayback Machine. Check it out for yourself. Now, Axon Enterprise, again, so here's the thing, 10 bagger window. If you would have bought the stock when we introduced it, right? It ran from, I think it was $1, right? 75 cents, let's call it $1. It went from $1 to 20 bucks. It became a 20 bagger in about 18 months, okay? 20 bagger. By the way, that would have been the time, the smart move would have been to sell at that time, because if I recall correctly, they were really in what was called the Homeland Security theme. They were part of a theme. And, you know, the theme was hot for a little while, then the theme was dead. And look at this. If you would have sold, the stock did nothing. The stock did absolutely nothing for over a decade. That's right. It was dead money for 14 years. Do you understand? Do you morons understand the gems I'm giving you with this book? 10 bagger blueprint. You got to get into 10 bagger window. You got to only own these stocks in the sweet spot. That's what I'm here to give you. The stocks which at the inflection point, like AIMLF is in the inflection point right now. So the opportunity in this stock was early on. You would have made 20 times your money, 20 times your money. And then they had another inflection point over here in 2018, whatever they were doing in 2018. And that's it. Now, do I care about about Axon? Fuck Axon. I mean, this is garbage. The next winner, I believe, is AIMLF. Okay. Now we got a couple of these. We got a couple of potential 10 baggers here. AIMLF. Let's look at this chart again. Keep in mind, 10 bagger window. You got to get into these things when they're in that. What is a 10 bagger window? It's when the company is coming on to catalysts. There's a lot of exciting things happening and things could explode. Okay. Now, this is very fascinating. You know, I always say you got to look at these charts because stocks like to go back to their old highs. Now, again, I'm not saying anything, but if you look at this chart of AIMLF, again, it was a shell. I have no idea what happened. But this was a $300 stock in theory. I mean, that's what the chart is telling us. $300. I'm not making this up. It was $300. $300. And now it was even let's say it was 70 cents just 2 years ago, right? American 70 cents, Canadian dollar $2, $1.50, whatever. Now, why do I believe this thing could be a potential 10 bagger? Let's look at it through the lens of the 10 bagger blueprint, my friends. Let's look at it through the lens of the 10 bagger blueprint. Number one, the AI theme is red hot. This company, you know, one of the things I talk about is there's 10 characteristics, okay? It's a system. One of the things you got to look for is you want to be in a hot theme, a stock that's going to be in a hot theme. AI, everybody knows it's the hot theme of the moment right now. You got stocks that are exploding, right? And if you would have bought the stock, I don't know, a couple of months ago before people, by the way, this company was called AIML for a couple of years now, 3 years. What does AIML stand for? It stands for Artificial Intelligence Machine Learning. This is the real deal. AIML is the real deal. It's not one of these, fugazi companies that changes their name, that adds an AI to their name because they want to be part of a trend. Okay, now we know who we're talking about, right? There's a couple of companies on the New York Exchange, other exchanges. I don't want to mention any names. I'm trying to be, the kinder and gentler here, and we're trying to be politically correct. But the point is this company has been AI from day one, and they're part of a hot theme. AI is going to be the theme for at least this year, right? Now, here's the thing you got to look for. Number two, price is everything. I talk about this in the book. Valuation is key. You got to get into these stocks cheap because, again, you got to de-risk. You got to eliminate. I mean, these things are so much risk involved with these penny stocks. You got to get it where, like, you have you can't lose anything. This thing is trading at a 5 million valuation. Still, it's a 5 million. When Parker bought it last week, it was like a 2 million valuation. It's only 5 million valuation today. Okay. What does that mean? Well, I'll give you an example. There's a couple of stocks where I don't want to mention any names, but there's a couple of, AI, so-called AI companies in the penny stock world that are, even in the dollar range or whatever, that are trading at 100 million valuation. That's right. 100 million valuation penny stocks. What do they have that AIML doesn't have? Nothing. They got nothing. They're spending millions on promotion. Okay. I don't want to mention any names, but you guys know which one I'm talking about. There's a company that, that all these pumpers on Discord, the Discord pump and dump crowd is pumping. And those guys are trading at 100 million valuation. You know why? One reason only. It's a pump and dump. They're spending millions on promotion. Okay. Buying digital ads, all sorts of games, whatever it is they're doing. Those things aren't worth it. But here's the thing: what that means is by comps, if you do the comps, AIML should be trading at 25, 50 million valuation. Now, what does AIML do? Let's talk about the fundamentals. By the way, in the book I talk about you want to be part of a hot team. You want to go where the puck is heading, like Wayne Gretzky. You want to be the Wayne Gretzky. You don't want to chase these things. You don't want to chase these AI stocks that have already had massive run-ups and that are basically all just hot air fugazi pump and dumps, right? You don't want to chase these stocks, even if they're on NASDAQ or whatever. You want to get into the stocks that are cheap because that's where the money is going to be going. The money is going to be heading now. What investors are going to be looking for now is what AI stocks are still cheap. What AI stocks are still cheap? You know which ones are still cheap? AIMLF. Now, what do? I know this sounds silly. They make wearable. Basically, I call it a dock in a box. AI dock in a box. They make a wearable device. Okay, wearable device. It's a clock, whatever. Okay, you wear this. Put this on your wrist. I mean, it takes all your vital health data, blood pressure, temperature, whatever, blood glucose, a bunch of stuff, everything that your doctor needs to know, like basically to get a sense of what's going on. So what are the applications? Well, I'll tell you what, remote patient monitoring, massive opportunity, especially elderly population. We've had company RHT, that company is a couple 100 million valuation. What do? Remote patient monitoring. This company, AIML, disrupts that whole business model. Do you understand it? So they take the data from this, okay, it sends it up to the cloud, it goes into the cloud, and your doctor, your healthcare professional, your family, whatever, they can see how you're doing, right? Let's say you're an old person, right? Let's say you have an elderly parent. You can have them wear this device, and you'll know exactly the status of their health. It's very important. Okay. Also, blood BP. What's going on? BP. Okay. It's giving me some measure. I don't know what it is. I'm not wearing this. I don't like to wear electronics. That's just me. Whatever. It's a great device. Now they use AI. Where does the AI come in? Because the AI can basically diagnose. I mean, if you watch the video we had with Bruce Batichuk, the chief technology officer, he tells you what's going on. This thing basically is like a doctor can get. I mean, because look, a doctor. What is a doctor in reality? Okay, a doctor. Anybody goes to medical school. Essentially, they get a bunch of data. Okay, they understand how things. AI can replicate a doctor. I'm sorry to insult all you, MDs out there. I know you guys think you're all God or whatever. AI can do your job with this because when you go to a doctor, what do? They give you all sorts of tests, whatever. And this thing can basically probably give you a better analysis than the doctor can. Now, for some validation, by the way, they have patents. They have a massive patent position for wearable devices, $20 billion market opportunity. A lot of these guys are infringing on their patents. That's one of the catalysts that they can go after these guys. I mean, that alone is probably worth 50 million for this stock. So you got a built-in profit position in this. It's a built-in profit. I'm going to talk about that in a second. By the way, you ever hear of Bill Gates? You know, the billionaire, the guy who created a company called Microsoft. I don't know if you heard of it. Bill Gates, very wealthy guy. And he's putting a lot of money into charity. He's got some charity which, you know, sends money to third world countries, whatever. And by the way, so the Gates Foundation was actually using this technology in Bangladesh. Check out the press release about 2 years ago, 18 months ago. So the Gates Foundation funded a study where it was some rare disease that potentially could afflict like pregnant women. It's like a health condition, so you really need to monitor their like health, some sort of vital signs. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what it is, but basically in Bangladesh, they don't have doctors in remote villages or whatever. So they gave these women this thing, and essentially if this signal came off, the doctor would know, okay, we got to bring this person to the hospital, whatever it is. It's a life-changing thing. Again, I'm only in it for the stocks. I'm not here to tell you I'm a humanitarian or whatever. I'm just in it to make money, okay? But the reality is this is going to save millions of lives, potentially millions of lives. This is literally when people say, oh, life-changing. Well, literally, this is a life-changing, okay? So Gates Foundation using this device in one application, remote health monitoring. Again, I'm looking at a couple things. Let's dive into the charts in 1 second. Let's dive into these charts. Let's get Parker out of here. Okay. So you got this massive market opportunity. AI is hot. These guys have multiple catalysts in place. You got the patent opportunity. We already know that the patent is valid because companies are paying them for the thing. The patent, I believe that patent alone is worth more than the value of the company. Probably, if you did the math, it could be worth 50 million plus, that's our path to a 10 bagger. Again, you got a 5 million valuation here. When you buy a penny stock at a 5 million valuation, like where is it going to go to a million? I mean, it's going to go to zero. I mean, it's basically free money almost. Again, high risk, paid content. Okay, let me make all disclaimers. Now, we got a massive breakout today in the stock. Let's dive into the chart. This is what I care about. We got a breakout above the 50 and the 200-day moving average on a daily chart. The stock is 11 cents today, 10.9, whatever. Closing at the high of the day. That's right, 10.9. They wouldn't make it 11 cents. Okay. Volume, decent volume. We've had increasing volume in the last 2 weeks. Investors are discovering this stock. You have to understand what happens. Here's why you got to look at these cheap, beaten down stocks. Because the money goes, okay, it's like it's a trickle down effect. They're not going to be buying AI at $35 a share. They're not going to be buying SoundCloud. They're not going to be buying Google or Microsoft, okay? They're not going to be, those stocks have already had runs. They're not going to be buying the other stocks. What the investors are going to be looking at is, okay, what's the next place? What's the next AI stock we can get into that's cheap, okay, that hasn't moved yet? And that is AIMLF, okay? This is the last AI stock. Ironically, it's the first AI stock out there, but it's the one that investors are just starting to discover, okay? That process started today. That market is telling you that the process started. It's starting. So the stock is already up. It's a double, right? But I believe we're in the early stages. I think it's going to be at least a 10 bagger. Now, even if it goes up, you know what I love about this story? Even if the stock goes up 10x, even if the stock becomes a 10 bagger, it's only a 50 million valuation, which is like this. There's so much more to go. It's like, even if it goes up 10x, you're still dirt cheap at a 50 million valuation. That's still less than half the valuation some of these fugazi stocks out there are trading at. Okay. And by the way, when you're at 50 million valuation, you're still under the radar of short sellers. That's what I love about this. The short sellers only attack when you get above like 100 million plus. When you get above 100 million, you become a juicy target for short sellers. I talk about this in the book. I have a chapter here called The Path to 10X. You know, what is the path to I have a whole chapter on that, right? And I have a chapter on technical analysis that tells you how to read these charts, trend following, valuation, path to 10X, what happens. You got to get in, you got to get out of these things when they get it into that 200 million range, because that's the danger zone for penny stocks. Unless they have real revenues to support a 200 million valuation, you got to get the hell out of them, because at that point, the juice has been squeezed out, okay? In order to carry a 200 million valuation, you need at least 25 million in revenues, even in today's 50 million in revenues. Okay, forget about the crazy valuations. Though that's 2020, not today. You got to get in, you got to get out. We're here to do like a quick smash and grab, okay? Guys, I'm not here to hold on to the stock for 2 years. I'm not here to milk a company. I'm not in the IR business like these low lives out there that are, you know, trying to charge a company, you know, 5-10 grand a month or 20 grand a month for like decades. And I don't know what they're doing for these companies. I mean, like, you know, it's like the greatest scam. When I sign up a company, I'm in it to get options. I want to make a bunch of money on the option. If the stock works out, you know, once we introduce it to investors, it gets that full valuation. I want to get rewarded for it, right? So I'm here to make money on the options, and that's it. And I want to move on to the next deal. Okay, I'm not here to milk a company for 5 years. I'm going to get bored with this thing. I want to get in and out of AIMLF as quickly as possible. I'm being very candid with you. I want to be in and out of this within the next couple of months. I mean, within 6 months for sure, 3 months, 4 months. And I think this thing can run up 10x in the next few months. So even if it goes up 10x, it's still going to be in this like 70-cent range, which is a beautiful position to be in. Let's talk about another key thing. Let me pull up the Canadian chart, because this is the one that actually has, so far, right now, it still has more liquidity. It's going to switch to the American side, but okay. Just so you know, so AIML, that's the Canadian stock. It was $1.50. By the way, that's when we introduced it right over here. It basically tripled like in a week. In 2 weeks, it tripled back in 2021. Yeah, it was hot. Now, let's see. Okay, now here's the thing you got to look for. Forget about everything I tell you. Don't believe anything I tell you. I'm just a low-life stock promoter. Don't believe anything I tell you or any other stock promoter or any CEO. Don't believe any of these CEOs, these low-life CEOs. The chart tells you the truth. And again, in my book, I talk about this. You got to follow the trend following system. Buy stocks on breakouts. And what we look for in the book, this is a casebook study. We got a massive double bottom, maybe an inverted head and shoulders. It's hard to tell. And we broke out of this. Look at this massive breakout above this 50 and 200-day moving average. Clear breakout. MACD line crossover. That's a buy signal, technical buy signal on volume. Clear breakout. Every time that the stock breaks out, it continues that run. Now, the question is this. The question is, here's what you want to ask yourself. The question is, will we see the run like we saw in January of 21, where it went from 30 cents to $1.50 in like how long? A week? 2 weeks? The stock increased 500% in, let's call it 2 weeks, 10 days, when it broke out of that moving average like we have today. Okay? It increased 500%. The other time we had that happen was over here in June of 21. It had like a 30% run. And again, in August of 21, it had like another 50% run. So far, this technical signal has a pretty good track record, no? I think that's a pretty good track record. When you have a stock that goes up either 50% or 500% whenever the signal triggers, to me, that's very positive. And it's happening right now. So we already have people who are making big money with this stock right now based on what's going on here. Anybody who bought last week is in the money. But you know what? I'll tell you what. I got news for you, and the news is this. If you bought the stock at a nickel, like Parker. Now, Parker got it. I don't know if he was smart or lucky. I don't know. But the smart money was not buying at a nickel. Okay, the smart money was not buying at a nickel. The smart money was buying it here at 10 cents Canadian when it broke above the moving average. Again, the smart thing to do, again, if you read the book, is you want to be positioned in the stocks, but you really want to get into them when they break out of the moving average, because what you don't want is, you don't want to, again, time is money. Time is money. You don't want to be sitting in a stock that's going nowhere for months. And that's what AIML was doing for months. Just like Axon, just like all those 100 baggers I showed you, they were doing nothing for years at a time. And then all of a sudden they entered the 10 bagger window, things could take off. So basically, you could have bought AIML at 3, 4 cents, 5 cents for the last year almost. But the smart money is only buying when it breaks out of a moving average. Why? Because that indicates a new trend has started. The momentum has started. Now, again, I talk about this all the time. Richard Dennis, famous trend follower, all the hedge funds on Wall Street, all the hedge funds, no matter what these knuckleheads tell you, they all use trend following systems. They all basically do this. They buy assets, stocks, futures, commodities, Forex, whatever you want to call it, anything, when it breaks out of a moving average, when a new trend starts, and they ride that trend. They ride it till that trend breaks down, and they get out, they get into the next trend. But they don't get into something until a new trend is established. We have here a new trend being established for AIMLF. On Friday, confirmed today. And let's see what happens in the next couple of days. I believe, again, based on this chart, again, this consider this paid content. I own shares. I'm a consultant to the company. Take everything I tell you with a grain of salt. In my opinion, we could easily see a move back to this dollar level. I don't know about $1.50, but $1 level is very possible. Okay. Now here are the lines of resistance. You're going to have resistance at 20 cents. That's the next light resistance, not a lot of resistance. Your real resistance comes in at 50 cents. I think if we break out of 20 cents, it's basically like, it's a vacuum. There's a vacuum. Most of the people in the stock, there's a lot of bag holders in this thing, I think. So, this thing can run 50 cents, $1, I think pretty easily. We could run to $1. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go there. This is not a price, what do they call it, representation. I'm saying potentially it can, based on the charts, if the company delivers. Now, let me tell you what I don't like about it. And I'm going to be very candid with you. This company, this chart, I give this chart like A-, maybe an A. I don't like their news flow. I give them a D. No, maybe I give them an F. That's right. I give them an F. Tim, if you're watching this, Randy, the CEO, if you're watching this, you get an F. You get an F for news flow. Okay, because you got a lot of news. I know you got news. I talked to Bruce. I talked to Tim. I know you got news flow. The fact that you're not putting out news is a failure, in my opinion. Okay, if you were putting out news flow like you should be, because you got plenty of stuff to talk about. I know that you do. If you're putting out the news flow, your stock would be at $1. Okay, you wouldn't be complaining about my stock. Your stock would be $1. So get off your ass, start putting out the news. I know you got the news. Start putting it out. If Nextech, one of our former clients, Nextech, was putting out news every week. If they could do it, you could do it. I don't see any difference. They're the same business. Bottom line is, this company, the one thing I don't like is that they're bad at putting out news. That's the one thing I don't like. Now, that also is the opportunity for you, the investor. That's the opportunity, because you know what? Look, all these stocks, and this reminds me of one of our 50 baggers. That's CBDT. That's a stock we introduced at a nickel, or ran to 250. Now, company had some potential, but intrinsically, they had flawed leadership. By flawed leadership, I mean, look, the CEO is a little bit flaky, and he was not putting out news, okay, on a consistent basis. When he came on our live stream, engaging, everything worked out. The stock ran from a nickel to $2.50. It ran from a nickel to $2.50 in 4 months. You don't believe it? Hang on. Let me show you something. By the way, this is a lesson. This is a learning, like Barack Obama would call it a learning. What do you call a learning experience? A learning something or other. Hang on a second. My internet is slow. I got low budget internet. Listen, this is what I got to deal with. I'm dealing with penny stocks. I can't afford good internet. I'm dealing with nickel stocks. Let's look at case study. Case study, my friends. Case study. Case study. By the way, hang on a second. Let me go Parker. Parker, you found me on TikTok. Amazing. You know what's crazy is on TikTok, I got 15,000 followers on TikTok. By the way, it's called, if you want to, on TikTok, it's called a Penny Stock Billionaire Gang or Penny Stock Billionaire. I'm not sure which one, but I got 15,000 followers there. Now, the thing is this, I find there's a lot of haters. A lot of these guys on TikTok, they're like morons. That's really the low mass market. Like, you talk about, I don't even know why do people go on TikTok. Why are you on TikTok? It's probably to look at like girls shaking their ass. I mean, I don't know why else people are on TikTok except to look at, girls shaking their ass. I mean, that's really what this is about. I mean, because I don't know what else you get there, but I'm on there because I want to reach a new market. But all these guys, they think, oh, it's a scam. It's a scam. This guy's a scam artist. He's a pump and dump guy. Now, first of all, you got to realize something. I can't do pump and dump. All my stocks, basically, I'm the only way I can make money is if the stock goes up like basically 10x. Okay, because my money comes from the options. And those options are restricted for at least 4 months, okay? That means I got to be in a stock for at least 4 months, 6 months. In a normal market, for us to create value, to build the organic following for a stock, it takes about 6 months in a normal market. So it's not a pump and dump. We create a following for the stock. I don't do digital I don't do like buy a bunch of banner ads. I don't do spam email. I don't do any of this bullshit. I do purely organic engagement, okay? I help a company create a following. That takes 6 months. So that's not pump and dump. And by the way, if you notice something, I have never had a stock drop on my watch. What does that mean? Anytime a company is doing business with the Wall Street Report, they're on our program, the stock never goes, well, we've had some stocks go down a little bit, like 20, 30%, if they didn't put out news, if they basically didn't do what they're supposed to do. But other than that, I have never had a stock drop like 75, 100%, like a lot of these clowns out there have. On my watch, during the time that Wall Street Reporter is promoting a stock, let's use the word promote, okay? When Wall Street Reporter is promoting a stock, those stocks almost always are going up, okay? Now, when we are no longer working with a company, which is usually we do 6-month contracts, when we're no longer working with a company, most of the time, the stocks drop. This is a fact, okay? Everybody knows this. As soon as we stop promoting the stock for whatever reason, it could be for one of two reasons. Number one is I think the stock already made its run, and that's it. I've done my job. I don't want to, there's nothing else for me to do. I don't send them a renewal thing. I'm done. Hopefully I sold my options, my stock, whatever. I'm done, right? I mean, it might continue, like Peak FinTech went to $14 from 70 cents, right? Our contract was up, we made money, everybody made money, everybody was happy. But look what happens when they're no longer on Wall Street Reporter. almost always the stock goes down because then they stop, the companies basically, they stop engaging with investors. They really don't have any accountability. Okay. Generally, when they're on Wall Street Report, we hold them accountable. We hold these mooch bum CEOs accountable. They feel that they have to perform. When they no longer have that pressure to perform, they drop off. I'll give you examples. I go down the whole list: Fans Unite, ESE, Skylight Health. You want me to go down I can go down the whole list. Now let's look at an example: Empower Clinics. Empower Clinics, we introduced the stock at right around here, a nickel. October, I think it was October. Yeah, I think it was around here. Basically 5 cents Canadian. When we introduced the stock, nobody believed in the story. A lot of people were burned out because the company had nothing going on the surface. Now, I thought they had a couple of interesting, projects, growth initiatives, which I thought gave it that 10x upside where it could become potentially a 50-cent stock. Again, the market was also different. Health tech was, healthcare was a hot sector. So I thought, hey, it's undervalued based on comps. There's a whole thesis. And also what I liked was the stock had a long base and had a previous high of around 50 cents. So when we got into CBDT or Empower or EP, whatever it's called now, the stock was a nickel. And it had a long base. So previously people were in it. I like that situation, right? And by the way, guess what happened? Parker, you're going to love this story. Parker, you know what happened with CBDT? Just like on TikTok, everybody says, oh, it's a scam, pump and dump. Whatever, okay. You know what happened? The stock started moving. It went up. And by the way, the smart thing to do really would have been, you wanted to lighten up here in the 50-cent range where you would have made 10 times your money. That's where the smart move would have been, to lighten up over here. And by the way, if you followed my live streams, I always said, hey, you might want to take a little money off the table. And of course, it went parabolic, went to $2.50. This was the 10-bagger window right here. This here. And how big was the move between December and March? December, January, February, March. 4 months. Within 4 months, the entire gain was made. That's right. Now, you know what? There were a lot of investors. Now, by the way, our contract was up. I wasn't going to renew with them because where is it going to go? It's going to go to $20? No, it's done, basically. It's and the CEO kind of disappeared. I don't know. The guy kind of went MIA, which I think was a mistake, but whatever. I'm not here to knock the guy. By the way, when the stock was over here, a lot of people were angry at me. They were saying, oh, how can you drop this company? This is life-changing. It's going to go to 20 to the moon, blah, 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 blah. Guess where it is now? Well, you see it on your screen. It's $0.015. That's right. If you would have held on, it went to $0.015. That's what happens. Let this be a lesson to you, my friends. Let this stock be a lesson. The point is you can make money with these stocks, but you got to get the hell out when you've made your money, okay? When you made 10x. Yeah, there are a lot of dumb people on TikTok. But here's the thing. I'm on it because everybody, that's the new platform. Look, I only need to reach a certain amount of people, okay? I only need to reach a certain amount of people, and that's the whole, look, I only have on YouTube, imagine this, nobody else on Wall Street, whatever, has introduced investors to as many 10 baggers as yours truly. I'm not here to brag. I'm telling you facts. I'm telling facts. I've had 10 stocks that increased 1,000 to 5,000% in the last 24 months. And I'm only talking about the last 2 years when I started tracking it because of this new program. I've been doing this for a long time, right? And I've had I just showed you 100 baggers. multi-bag. I don't even talk about the 5 baggers, double. That's bullshit, right? Imagine this website, Wall Street Report. We only have 10,000 followers. Now the good news is we have some sophisticated people in the audience. We got some heavy hitters here. But I don't appeal. I don't appeal to the masses of like the unwashed masses of people who want to be told what to do, and they need some guy like in a hoodie. I'm not here to wear a hoodie and a t-shirt like hey bro, yo bro, I'm not into like stupid bullshit and fairy tales and blowing smoke up your ass, telling you how great these CEO whatever. I'm here to tell you the reality, okay? And this is the reality. Oh, that's right. Look at this super fan Twitter. That's right. I got to run my Twitter ad here. Where's my Twitter ad? Where is this thing? Follow us on Twitter. What does it say? Wall Street Reporter. Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Where does it say that? Yeah, we got to get some better promotion going here. Also, make sure to we are on Discord also. Discord. Did you know that? Discord. Links in the video, in the description down below. The point is, I'm just here to bring you 10 baggers. In my opinion, AIMLF has key ingredients to be a 10 bagger. And guess what? They better deliver. I think they're in that window. They're in the window to become a potentially a 10 bagger. But, I'm telling you, these guys better start putting out news because, the news is necessary to support the stock. I think they have all the catalysts, everything in place to become potentially 10 baggers. So I think it's the best bet right now in the market. You're paying $5 million for this company. The peers are trading at 100 million plus. How do you go wrong? You can't. Again, you could go to zero. I'm not saying you can't. You could go to zero. Anyway, the charts are saying it's buy. Look at this. The chart signals saying buy. Now, let's talk about my next one. Nova. This stock, by the way, which I've been talking about also on TikTok, we're going to have a video coming up. I think this could be the next, also another 10 bagger, 20 bagger, 8 million valuation, biotech, psilocybin space, massive double bottom. Was a $4 stock. That's what the chart's telling you, right? $4. 5 cents right now. And they're in the 10 bagger window. Why? Because Nova Mentis is starting their phase 2A clinical trial. That's right. They got approval. Last year, they were working on it. Finally, they got the approval to start the clinical trial. That's a big milestone. Psilocybin, mushrooms, shrooms, psychedelics for treating autism, Fragile X. Watch the video. There's a lot of interesting information dropped in there. This thing could be easily a 10 bagger. Again, biotech stocks that have positive data in phase 2 could trade at multi-hundred million valuations, especially if they have a novel therapeutic like these guys have. A novel therapeutic, what does it mean? Novelty, something new, a new treatment. These guys already have orphan drug designation from the FDA for autism, Fragile X. And I believe they're probably going to get into the trial, get some data, probably going to get bought out within the year. I don't see this. I don't see this thing. This is not a 3-year hold. This is basically, this is in it. This is a thing. Get into the trial, which is already, they got approval. They're starting to enroll or they're going to start to enroll patients probably in a week or two. So that is a milestone. When they get into that, they become a juicy target for a couple of these guys who have a lot of money, but they don't have a psilocybin program that could potentially be used for a lot of neurological disorders, multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. Very attractive potential buyout target. So I believe that Nova Mentis could be the next explosive runner here. Let me pull up the American symbol. My internet is slow. Now, again, If you notice, a lot of these stocks, when we introduce them, whatever, they're slow to move, just like CBDT was. That stock was a nickel for a month. Everybody said, "Oh, it's a scam. It's a pump it up." It was a nickel. Then it went up to 6, 7 cents. Finally, it went to 10 cents, and then it broke out. It just went to the moon. That's the type of thing I'm looking for. I'm looking for that type of action. So I like the fact that it's slow to move, just like AIML, right? Let me pull up EPW again because this is interesting. I believe AIML could follow that same trajectory. Look, it was. If anybody does anybody remember what happened? That's right. It was trading at a nickel at 4 cents, exactly like AIML, for months. Finally goes above. It broke out of the moving average. Look at this. That's right. Just like that. Just like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is exactly like AIML. This is exactly the AIML chart. It broke above a nickel, then 7 cents, then 10 cents, pulled back, and then a month later broke out of 13 cents, and then that was game over. It became it went to $2. That could happen with AIML. Exactly. Look, when it broke out of that 50 and 200 moving average, that was the buy signal right here at a nickel. If you would have bought Empower at a nickel, you would have made 50 times your money. So I don't know what else to tell you guys. I mean, it's shocking to me. Shocking. Anyway, Parker, do me a favor. You got the book. Please leave a review on Amazon. Now, I just heard from a source. I don't know if the guy's watching. He's one of my neighbors. The guy's a super successful guy. Almost. I mean, I'm not quite a billionaire, but very ultra successful guy, right? And I gave him. I actually know. I was going to give him a copy. This is what shows you what a high class guy this is, right? I said, look, I want to give you a copy of the book because we're talking about penny. I said, look, I want to give you a copy of the book. He says, no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna buy the book. And literally, right? We're talking. He whips out his phone. He buys the book. So he buys the book. When you give people something for free, they don't appreciate it. The guy buys the book. He reads it. The guy read the book. He says, yeah, I got some great things. That he actually, the only thing he liked is the chart stuff. That's what he liked because the other stuff he kind of knew about, whatever. But again, this guy, he's a very successful guy, and he told me that the book. He said, yeah, listen, on every page there's like a typo or grammatical error on every page. So the one thing is, I'm sorry, I didn't run the book through whatever. So there are probably typos, grammatical errors. The content is what counts. And we're going to do another version of the book. We're going to do a revised edition in a couple of months. This is like a beta version. You're getting it cheap at $20. We're going to raise the price for the revised edition, which is going to be beautiful and grammatically correct. But again, this book is just like this 5-cent stock. You're getting it cheap right now. Just like you're getting AIML cheap at a nickel, because it's got a couple of small issues. It's a fixer-upper. It's a fixer-upper, okay? You want a perfect house, you got to pay full price. You got to pay full retail, okay? You want a fixer-upper, you get a bargain. It's not for everybody. So Parker, do me a favor, please leave a good review on Amazon. It really helps because the algorithm, I don't really give a shit about the reviews, but the algorithm, it rules our lives. The algorithm. That's why I need people to press the like and dislike button here. Subscribe for the algorithm. What's going on here? Okay. Anyhow, bottom line is AIMLF. Hang on, let me see. Add item. I don't know. Okay, something here. Okay. Anyway, bottom line is AIMLF, amazing setup here. I think this could be the next 10 bagger. Nova Mentis, another one. Another one is Nova Mentis, NMLSF. Keep an eye on that stock. I think that one is going to run big time, big time, big time. But I think one of our best, again, right now, chart-wise, the absolute best setup is AIML. AIML. I mean, look, the charts don't lie. What can I tell you? When it breaks out of the moving average, you see what happens. I've shown you example after example where stocks have massive moves. This is a massive buy signal. And let me, in case you need a Japanese chart, here's a Japanese chart, Japanese candle chart. Fundamentally, they got some incredible things going on there in the AI business. They got patents. They got, did we even talk about the mental health app that they have? Did we even talk about their, the FDA giving them the medical device approval for blood pressure monitoring, which could be a massive game changer? A lot of catalysts, believe me, a lot of catalysts for the stock. Anyway, look, I'm here to just talk about charts for today. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below, and make sure you get a copy of this book so that you too can become a penny stock billionaire.